Picture the Monopoly man. Give him his top hat, cane, and tailored suit. Now look closely at his face. Does he wear a monocle? Keep that image locked in. Now picture Pikachu from Pokemon. Focus on his tail. Is there a black stripe right at the tip? Let's try one more. Listen to the most famous confrontation in cinematic history. Does Darth Vader say the exact words, "Luke, I am your father"? If you answered yes to any of those, your memory is playing tricks on you. Look at the actual game board right here. The Monopoly mascot has never worn a monocle. Pikachu's tail is completely yellow, and Darth Vader actually says, "No, I am your father." You're experiencing the Mandela Effect. This is a psychological phenomenon where large, disconnected groups of people hold the exact same vivid, highly specific, and entirely fabricated memory. The phenomenon gets its name from paranormal researcher Fiona Broome. In 2009, she realized that she, along with thousands of strangers online, distinctly remembered the South African anti-apartheid activist Nelson Mandela dying in prison during the 1980s. The historical record shows otherwise. Mandela was released in 1990, served a term as South Africa's president, and lived until 2013. You can see the documentation from his state funeral right here. When confronted with these stark contradictions, internet communities often reject the evidence. They propose theories involving alternate realities, shifting timelines, or parallel universes colliding with our own. We don't need quantum mechanics to explain these errors. Cognitive psychology provides a precise answer. Our brains actively overwrite the truth to maintain internal logic. For decades, society treated human memory like a video camera archiving unalterable footage. Neuroscience proves this model is completely false. The brain functions more like a zip drive. To conserve biological energy and storage space, we do not save every granular detail of an experience. We encode only the broadest gist of what happened. When you try to recall an event, your mind must unpack that tiny file. It engages in a process called reconstructive memory, pulling scattered neural fragments together and rebuilding the scene entirely from scratch. To fill in the gaps where original data is missing, your brain relies on schemas. These are pre-existing mental templates, cultural stereotypes, and assumptions about how the world ought to look. They seamlessly patch over your blind spots. Because of this patching process, a perfectly healthy mind will consistently generate a perfectly logical lie. It prefers a neat, coherent story over an incomplete truth. We can observe this phenomenon in a controlled laboratory setting through the DRM paradigm. Researchers show participants a rapid sequence of closely related words, like bed, rest, awake, and tired. Later, when asked to recall the list, a massive percentage of subjects will confidently state they saw the word sleep. The brain infers the missing piece from the surrounding context and creates a vivid memory of a word that was never there. This word association error scales up directly to visual media. Psychologists refer to this specific variation as the visual Mandela effect. Apply the schema concept to the Monopoly man. Our cultural template dictates that wealthy 19th century capitalists carry walking canes, wear tall top hats, and sport glass monocles. When your brain unpacks the character, it automatically renders the missing eyewear to fit the stereotype. Look closely at this canonical Pikachu figure. Its tail is solid yellow, yet many people draw it with a black tip. Researchers confirmed this is not caused by a lack of attention. Our minds expect a visual counterweight to the black tips on his ears, so human rendering software simply invents one. These individual logic errors become collective through social contagion. You hear a friend misquote a movie, or see inaccurate fan art online. That exposure introduces new, misleading information into your own mental file. When the brain's aggressive data compression collides with mass cultural reinforcement, millions of people arrive at the exact same incorrect conclusion. A solitary mental error transforms into a shared alternate reality. If our internal recording devices are this flawed, you have to ask why evolution hasn't patched the glitch. The truth is, the Mandela Effect proves we have a highly efficient, adaptive mind. Our cognition evolved to prioritize narrative coherence and rapid logic over objective accuracy. Sacrificing granular details allows the brain to make fast, life-saving predictions based on general patterns. Biologically speaking, anticipating a physical threat is far more important than correctly remembering a line of dialogue from a movie. Our past is never a permanent, objective record. It is a living story, constantly edited, influenced, and overwritten without our permission.